Hey everyone, now we have a bit of pre-code fun with the 1933 movie Designed for a Living, starring Fredric March, Gary Cooper, and Miriam Hopkins. Now, on a train bound for Paris, playwright Tom Chambers, Fredric March, and his painter friend and roommate, George Curtis, Gary Cooper, meet commercial artist Gilda Farrell, Miriam Hopkins. Now, they both taking liking to her, and she to them. Her boss and friend, advertising executive Max Plunkett, Edward Everett Horton, objects to their relationships, but his words fall on deaf ears. Well, except to Tommy, who borrows a quote from him for a play that he is writing. Now, Tom and George start arguing over Gilda, and she proposes a new arrangement. The three of them live together, with her pushing them to do better in their respective arts. But no sex. Now, in no time at all, she helps Tom get his play in front of a big London theatrical producer, and so he has to leave to help with rehearsals. After he leaves, George and Gilda end up breaking the pact, and let Tom know about it. After almost a year of success with his play, Tom comes back, only to find George became enough of a success to have moved into a more upscale apartment. He also finds Gilda still receptive to him, but George arrives back from a trip early, only to find them both together. When the two men start arguing again, she leaves them both, unable to decide between them. She marries Max, who takes her to the US, but she soon finds herself quite bored with him. Now, Designed for a Living was based on a play written by and starring Noel Coward. When Paramount bought the film rights, it was given to director Ernst Lubitsch. He brought in writer Ben Heck to do the screenplay, and he ended up changing a lot of the things around, and at most kept like one line of dialogue from the play. Now, Lubitsch wanted Miriam Hopkins for the role of Gilda Farrell right from the start, but he had trouble casting the male leads. He wanted Ronald Colman and Leslie Howard, but they were either too expensive or uninterested in doing it. Then Fredric March was brought in, along with Douglas Fairbanks Jr., although Fairbanks pulled out when he came down with pneumonia, obviously. So Gary Cooper, then mainly known as an action star, was cast. Now, critics and audiences at the time weren't kind to the movie, but it has gained in popularity over time. Now, this is a movie I hadn't really heard of before. I only discovered it when I was looking for movies with Edward Everett Horton in them, after I stopped to realize that he was one of those actors well represented within my own film collection that I hadn't been actively trying to collect the films of, and yet still enjoyed everything he did. Now, of course, Gary Cooper also starring in this movie didn't hurt either, not to mention being directed by Ernst Lubitsch, who has done a few movies that I like, so I finally got the chance to see it, and I really enjoyed it. I'll admit it's the earliest Gary Cooper movie I've seen thus far, so I've already seen some of his later comedies. So it was no surprise to me that he handled the comedy well. And of course, Edward Everett Horton didn't disappoint either. This movie is easily full of good comedy and made wonderful and memorable lines. The pre-code elements certainly make this movie fun, giving us the reverse of the usual situation, as the movie itself indicates, with one woman falling in love with two men and trying to figure out what she prefers, instead of the other way around. Now, the pre-code elements are relatively tame compared to what would probably be in most movies of this type today, but I would still be a little wary of showing this movie to young kids, if only because sex is still enough of a topic in it. Still, I very much enjoyed this comedy, and I would very much recommend it to anybody willing to give it a try. This movie is available on Blu-ray and DVD from Criterion Collection and is 1 hour and 32 minutes in length. Well, I think that should be all I have to say on this one, everybody, so thanks for listening, and I hope you'll keep coming back for more.